Yo, man, I already told you.
Oh, he's got the Marvel shirt. That's a fantastic.
That's really dope.
That's a fantastic shirt, dude. Can you show that off for a little? Not that we want to promote.
Welcome to Justice for Hire.
Oh, it's dope.
Marvel.
That is a very dope shirt. And welcome everybody to Justice Hero Meetup 23. And that was Tai Chi Wonder.
JFH.
Thank you, man. JFH showing off his wonderful Marvel shirt.
Yo,
we have lots of respect for him.
I already told. Yo, I told you, bro. You're doing the next YouTube, but for heroes. You know, it's I mean, it's really unique stuff, man.
Well, no, we appreciate that. I was thinking about that comment you made, that YouTube for Heroes comment this morning, and I think the difference between us and YouTube is that YouTube isn't directing a story, like a full story. It has so many different stories going on. They're not necessarily tied together like Marvel does in a shared cinematic universe. And I think that a key difference for us is that, while it is like YouTube where anybody can create content and place it onto the platform, it's tied together by story, which allows us to actually like participate and grow together in really clear ways and fun ways. So I think that's like the key difference. And I think, you being a foundational hero, like people being able to watch how you've grown over the years at this point that we've been doing this is a huge deal for and it's a testament to the vision. I was thinking about you and Vintage and Juice and that what you shot earlier this year for Wash the Hate, and next Saturday, you're on the Warner Media panel again for the JFH Action Scenes Showcase. So for that wonderful Tai Chi scene that you redid, Tai Chi Master, right? That was Jet Li's Tai Chi Master.
Yeah, man, that shit was dope. And that's one of my favorite scenes too. It really taps into like the potential Tai Chi can have if we unlock like certain areas of the brain that allow us to somehow force, right? Like Yoda would say, and use the force through tapping into deeper senses of movement within the body. So I mean, I believe in it, man. So I thought it was a great scene. I mean, I couldn't play out the rest of it. The rest of it, he literally takes the force and take like a whole bunch of leaves and makes like this ball around it, and then he disperses it, and the yin and yang symbol is on the ground. I thought it was so cool. I was like, holy shit, man. Yeah, man. So I did some of the scene. Yeah. Yep.
I love what you just said, because I was talking to Yulong last night, and he'll be on, like I said, in a few minutes. His series, he's producing his own JFH series weekly right now, and there's a lot of emphasis on making conscious, a lot of unconscious activity, and for the human experience. So he's playing every character in his video, and we were talking about, well, how does that actually work if you're playing every character in your video, and when you tie together into the Justice for Hire like shared universe, how can we make something like that actually work? And so we started talking about, since there's no real superpower to what we're doing, but superpowers are really based on esoteric strength, like strengths that I think you touch with your training in Tai Chi. That obviously I train Tai Chi as well, but and so does he. So I think we have these modalities that are allowing us certain axes to access to these subtle energies. And so it's really interesting when you say something like that, because I think that, and especially given that we just launched Missions yesterday, and the first mission we launched is what? Neighborhood patrol. So it's really grounded. We launched a really grounded mission yesterday, which I'd love for you to take on. I have a video on there. The first video is me on a neighborhood patrol. And that's a very real life superhero common it's like, I think the most basic thing you do is like, as a real life superhero, you know, they could probably speak to it. The members in our cast that are RLSH or can speak to it more than I can. But like, how do we go from the very grounded action cinematic universe that we're making and then start tying in these more esoteric ideas? And it's really through character, and it's through understanding characters like Tai Chi Wonder, like you, because when someone understands you and relates to you and your reality, and I think that, you know, you have that New York swag about you. You know, you're a martial artist. You've trained in the Shaolin Temple and trained with esoteric arts. You box. You know, so boxing is the most efficient striking style, hand striking style. There's no question around that. You know, but to be able to box and to be able to understand like what Shaolin actually is, and then to combine those two, that's essentially bridging unquestionable practicality with the depth of ancient wisdom. And so I think it's really interesting, the opportunity that we have as a team, as a collective, to share. Oh, Dream's in here too. You know, Dream's coming in. What's going on, Dream? Good to see you, man. Thank you for joining us.
Holy
we got
shit.
Tai Chi Wonder here, and Andra and Autumn, and Jan. Hi.
Wave, nice wave.
It's good to see you. We're talking about bridging the like, kind of like Marvel, where it started with Iron Man, and Iron Man was really grounded, and now we're at Eternals, which is, you know, talking about celestial immortal beings. You know, how do we bridge Justice for Hire from being this really, really practical, you know, real world, let's all be a hero in our own lives and help each other, these concepts, and then start bringing in these more dynamic, and I don't want to say superhero-esque, because I think that downplays what we're talking about, but the subtle energies that we all experience, you know, and that we all unconsciously can experience and are experiencing, and then consciously actually touch them. And you know, Tai Chi Wonder is a great example, because he trains Tai Chi, and Tai Chi as a system is putting you in contact with breath. And once it puts you in contact with breath, it puts you in contact with attention control. And I'm reading this wonderful book called The Manual for Self-Healing. And this book is talking about the automatic mind. And the automatic mind is essentially all the functions of our body that we don't have to think about, like our heartbeat or our digestion. And through evolution, you know, thousands or millions of years ago, we essentially, intimate angles, words of dialogue. I'm going to check your chat. You said intimate angles, words of dialogue, lessons of our own. I got one, super original. Yes, love the art of self-healing. Love that. But so it's called The Manual for Self-Healing, and it's talking about the automatic mind. And so, you know, millennia ago, we had to consciously digest food and other things. Like there's a lot of functions in our body that were conscious, and now they're made unconscious. But we actually still have access to these bodies and these functions in our body. And I think that's super interesting to recognize. And the book talks about, you know, us going from having to essentially run all our functions consciously to having an automatic mind, and then being able to focus on intellectual things. So we're in a phase of human development where we're focusing on intellect, but the next phase of evolution for humanity is intuition, and it's operating based on intuitive senses rather than the intellectual. And so I think that's super interesting, because when you talk about intuition, you know, you can be very, very, you know, fluffy about it, or you can actually recognize that intuition is like Deepak Chopra says, the heart has a higher computing power than the brain. So, and sometimes, you know, people get it, or a gut feeling, your heart, your gut feelings, like you get these feelings that drive you to, if you listen to them, when you feel good and you listen to that good feeling, you know, that normally means that the decision you're about to make is the right one. And if you feel bad, you have a bad feeling about this, probably shouldn't do the thing. You know? And essentially, I look at intuition as this thing that is guiding us toward highest good. So if we're actually going toward highest good, what that really means from an intellectual standpoint, which is where we are now, that we're actually operating in the best interest of the system. So we're optimizing our system. So if we all operate off of intuition, we're all operating for the highest good of ourselves and other people. That means we have the best society we can possibly have because we're all operating for the highest good. So I all this tying right back together to the concept of practicality, you know, like where we are now, how do we as a community, and I'm interested in your thoughts, guys, on this, and anybody and Dream, you know, I think this is one of the first times we've had you on a hero meetup, or maybe second time, but you know, it'd be great to get your thoughts on this too. But how do we as a community make sure that we are taking that if we agree that operating off of intuition for the highest good is where we need to go as a society and a culture, like how do we showcase that in what we're doing with Justice for Hire step by step, you know, with our characters? So I'm interested in thoughts and ideas from anybody on this. And I'll start it off. One of the things that comes to mind for me is from a conversation that myself and Tai Chi Wonder had that inspired something I shot in July for our what was that? The San Diego Comic-Con superhero kung fu extravaganza that we did in July. If you remember the promo video, there was a moment where I kick open a door holding pizza, and I kick open the door and I hold the door with my knees up, and it's the moment is talking about martial arts in your everyday life, how you use martial arts in your everyday life. And that moment was specifically based off of a conversation with Tai Chi Wonder, because we were talking about you know, everything we shot in July, and we were leading up to earlier this year in New York, and we were talking about like how do we show what it actually feels like to live as a martial artist. So I think that's an interesting place to start, like how you live. So did I cut you off, man?
Yeah, I mean, like, yep. I mean, if it's like as a lifestyle, right? Like when you like wash something, or you know, when you go to a Shaolin temple, you know, they have that practicality, right? It's like, all right, you're training martial arts, and they want you to go deeper within the body, and then they want you to optimize every part of the body in every sense. Right. So when you're washing clothes, or when you're running for errands, or when you're doing when you're cleaning the temples, they want you to think as a martial artist, you know, just subtleness, simplistic, and then the forms, like whatever forms you're learning, or whatever tweak or muscle is it that the person is working on, work on it as you're doing the chores. Right. So it's, you know, again, like martial arts, it is a lifestyle, but it doesn't only stop with the training. Like you continually learn how to continue the training on your everyday life, right? And you know, and you can pick up the philosophy for even like I guess like public speaking, like if you wanted to bring in that kung fu swag, right, or whatever it means to you, like the discipline and the consistency of training, like that expands. We don't necessarily have to stop at the gym, right? We don't necessarily have to stop at the training session. We could continue the training session. And what's really cool behind that is a good reminder is that if you go to a training camp, as you're sleeping, you're training, right? So if you go to a Shaolin temple in China, 7,000 feet above sea level, you're sleeping, our lungs only take in a certain amount of air, I guess, right? So this lack of oxygen, right? So my tempo and my rhythm of breath, it's a lot different and a lot normalized when I'm training here on this ground level, or when I'm training in New York or New Jersey. But if I'm training in China and a Shaolin, my breath to train even harder, right? So again, it's just like, it's a great reminder that the lifestyle of the martial artist, right, or the lifestyle of the trainer, right, is you take it to everything you do, right? At least that's one of the lessons. Like you don't just stop right there. You continue with everything you do in life, right? Yep. So I'm gonna pass the baton to you, Jan. Go.
So I have a quick question on that, because that's really so I'd love to, you know, you trained at the Shaolin Temple in China. I got kicked out of the Shaolin Temple in New York, the USA Shaolin Temple. So I'm wondering, like,
No, wait, you talk about the one in Chinatown?
Xi'an Ming's. Yeah, I got kicked out of his Shaolin Temple. God bless him.
Why?
Great. Well, that's a story for another time. But what I'm getting at is that I'm wondering how can you describe for us, because I think this is super inspiring. How did you, and Ragdoll's coming in, how did you, while training there, what's going on, Ragdoll? How can you tell us a little bit more about what your experience was and what the details are about the concept of doing the daily chore from the training perspective? Can you tell us a little bit more? Like you said, if you're working on a particular muscle twitch or something like that, then you do that exercise. You might sweep the floor or clean a dish with a certain exercise in mind. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Because that's the kind of stuff that people don't see, especially in America. Sometimes you see it in Chinese films, and I think that it helps because Kung Fu and martial arts is such a part of the culture in China. People expect to have these details, these fun, beautiful details, but we don't have that in the States. We don't have the concept of the disciplined master as an archetype, the lifestyle of the disciplined master. It's really not in the fabric of our storytelling. And I think we need to bring that in through the American lens. And the fact that you've touched this and lived this is a major asset for all of us, the whole community. And so can you tell us a little bit more about what your experience is, just cleaning, and how that integrates, like what exercises you're doing, like why, how would that change how would washing a dish change if you change the exercise, that if you're working on a different exercise one day versus the day before?
All right. So since my lifestyle there was literally to train and think as a Shaolin, or to train and think as a martial artist, or to train and think as someone who's looking for deeper senses within his own body, the lifestyle promotes it, right? The lifestyle is very, very important once you pick up a discipline, because the discipline that you pick up, that's gonna reinforce what you're learning. So if you go to school and you get a master's degree, a bachelor's degree, associate's degree, whatever degree it is, that degree is gonna enforce what you learned on your lifestyle, right? So if you get a degree in, I don't know, let's just say public speaking, right? You're gonna be a fucking great speaker. You're gonna go and you're gonna have this ability to speak.
We lost you a bit.
You're reinforcing the practices was deep in the practice, right? So if we're in a stance like Mambu, a horse stance, right? So if we're in a horse stance, we have to deepen the senses within our legs, right? So if I'm sweeping, I'm focusing on my legs, right? That's the training for the day, right? If the focus was training on my legs as I'm sweeping, or I'm cleaning, or I'm picking something up from the ground, I'm gonna put all my intention. I'm gonna even close my eyes for a sec just to feel every microfiber of my muscle and anything else I can add and increase to the sense, right? Because when you're a martial artist, you have to have a sense, like you were saying, intuition is as if where the heart and the mind meet, of intelligence that's very subtle, but you could listen to it. I think it's called Ting Ying. Something along those lines, right? You begin to listen deeply, right? So So if the second day, the practice is forms, right? And you're just practicing how to punch, how to block, and how to do that at the same time, you want to deepen that sense. So if, let's just say the chores was to, we had to go get we had to use this barrel and we had to fill it up with a whole bunch of vegetables to bring into the Shaolin cooking area, right? That was about a mile away. As we're carrying this barrel for the morning time, we train about 2-3 hours in just forms alone and just Shaolin forms. Once we started carrying this barrel, and me and maybe 2-3 other people, I don't know about the other guys, I'm pretty sure they were thinking the same thing, but what I was thinking is, how can I effectively and most efficiently carry this barrel 1 mile using every fiber of my muscle, every and it just felt like every format, I guess, right? For the lack of better words, it was like a format. Like, what's the best format of carrying this barrel 1 mile ahead and the fastest, and without having to tire myself out, right? So it was like a twist in the wrist. In the wrist, it was actually like not using so much muscle on this side. If we're going over a bump, rush a little bit and then and jump with the barrel. So it was just like, if you're practicing form and then you go do something else, right, you carry the forms with you, right? And then the next day, what else? Oh, if we're practicing Tai Chi, right, like how center can a person be, right? How clear can a person get, right? How deep in sense, right? It's very, very important to me, particularly the way my brain operates, right? It's just like, how deep in sense can I get, right? So if we have things called magua bowl. Magua come from 2 feet and goes up to 7 feet to 8 feet off the ground. It's just this 4-inch pole that a person stands on, right? So when you're on these poles, you can get seriously hurt if you fall off, because there's at least about a foot away another pole. So if you fall, it's not like you're grabbing onto anything. No, you gotta, if you fall, you're gonna hit the pole and it's gonna hurt. And so one of the students there ended up getting injured, but the other students that took a risk on these poles, what they would do is that they would take their meditative practice, right, to really slow down the thinking, really be present and aware as you're going up these poles, and practice the forms on it. But again, taking some of the Tai Chi and the meditation, right, to just be present and be careful and listen, right, not be so like staticky, right, but really listen, and it helped to deepen that practice. So I think that's pretty much it, man. So I left that train of thought. All right, I'm off the train. Back to you, Jan.
No, I mean, hey, I don't want to like. Well, we got creator coming in here. I'm interested in. Did we just lose? Oh, there's Dream. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I'm interested in Dream's thoughts on this stuff too, especially the original question. So, Dream, go for it.
Okay. Now that was a good warm up coming from Tai Chi. It settled in a lot. So what I wanted to introduce was actually something basic, something that anybody can learn. And there's gonna be 2 sides of it. There's gonna be intellect and there's gonna be intuition. And intuition has everything to do with emotions. You kind of gotta like be on top of your emotions. You gotta be immersed with your emotions to really, really tap in. Intellect says you don't need emotions. This is simple, this is basic, and the facts never change, you know. And the way the system that just how I'm going to shape this is going to be through our common knowledge of the elements, fire, water, electric, wind, air, and so on. And each of these elements are actually going to teach us something different. It's also going to teach us how to maneuver through each situation, as well as relationships and all different aspects of our lives. To give you an example, for example, the wind element. So for me, the wind element in my course is going to be all about how to be in two places at once within your mind, right? So let's say you're having a conversation with somebody, but you're also having these like thoughts in your head. It's going to be about how you could do both at the same time while still being receptive to the person in front of you. Wind element is going to be all about that, but there's also other things to know about wind element because each element has pillars. For example, wind element says to remember that you have the best intellect or intelligence or intuitive intelligence for yourself, that you could be and is the highest and the greatest master. So remembering that pillar already allows you to feel high, like really, really high, you know? And so we're actually taking alchemy from that concept, right? While earth element, for example, earth element is going to be physical, is going to be non-emotional. Earth element is going to be present, it's going to be here. Earth element says there's no portals in my head, there's no thoughts in my head, we're right here in front. And earth element is all about how to like take things to your chest, how to like just do it. Like for example, and like I can see how we could really throw this into JFH universe. For example, if let's say there's trouble in the streets, somebody could go ahead like with their own thoughts, they're going to be like, see, I could get involved, but I'm really tired and this and that. And like, and then right there, you'd be like, nah, earth element, let me get out of my own head. Let me go ahead and make this happen. And he would jump right into the action and then walk away. And there's other ways we could play this. For example, air element also says, I cannot be attached to this situation. And air element goes with saying, intelligence without emotional baggage. So I have a whole template to make this all simple for people, truly, right? But the way these elements are going to play is going to keep things very, very simple. And it's all going to point towards intuition, because another element, which I would call the mystery element or the mystic element, literally plays based on everybody's individual gift. Everybody has an individual gift. Everybody has something that they're so good at effortlessly. And we're going to call that the mystery mystic element. This one's going to be based on emotional, intuitive intelligence. So, you know, I'm already working on these courses, these templates, to make this very, very efficiently understood and understood by all parties of the collective.
I'll buy the book, man. I'll buy the book. Get the book.
So just for everyone thank you so much for sharing that, Dream. I have some I think you said some amazing stuff. I want to frame this for everybody who just joined. Creator just joined. Sensei Claus just joined. Klaus. So like what we're talking about is the concept of, we have a very grounded universe. Our first mission just started yesterday. Not our first, but we have 2 missions already out. But a new mission, weekly missions are going to come out now, starting for every week on Fridays. We just put out neighborhood patrol, and that's a very standard real life superhero mission. It's probably the thing that real life superheroes do the most, which is just walk around the neighborhood and make sure things are okay. You know, and obviously we're doing this in character. It's part of the storyline. It's how you want to tie it into your narrative. So that being said, that sense of groundedness is akin to how Marvel, shout out to Tai Chi Wonder's wonderful Marvel shirt, started with Iron Man. Iron Man was a fairly grounded character. He didn't have any particular superpowers. So, you know, he built a suit, you know? So, and now we're at where Eternals is and you know, infinite cosmic beings. And I think that this is, while JFH is still, you know, there's no superpowers, no one's flying around or anything like that. The concept of us being, of people being able to connect to more subtle energies in reality, in real life, out of character, you know, that there's all this unconscious stuff happening within us, and how to bring how do we get from the grounded neighborhood patrol mission to more just bringing out more of the secret sauce of life, you know, essentially like more of the subtle awareness, more of the intuitive stuff. And really the answer to that is going to be through character and through how characters are how your characters personally deal with the world. So we have great examples for like Tai Chi Wonder and Dream, who are both of them as characters have at their foundation a bunch of esoteric learning. So I think that there's an opportunity there story-wise, which translates into scenes that allow us to get insight into their lives, so that we as people watching, as the audience, can actually relate to some of the concepts that may be foreign to us. And through their character, we might be able to say, oh, that's interesting. Maybe there's something like that in my life too. How can I relate to that? And so this is just the general mechanic of us sharing knowledge and expanding our awareness as a community. So Dream, thank you. So that was my pre-frame for everything that everyone just said. So Dream, I think that's really great. Like when you say you're working on courses, I'm hoping that these courses that you're working on, that you can translate some of these ideas, because you said some really amazing stuff. As I totally relate to, oh, I'm too tired to do something, but hold on, while I may not think Earth, I definitely realize that there are points in my life where I have moments in my life, not points, specific moments where I might feel like I don't have enough energy to deal with something. And then I realize that I need to consciously make a shift and draw power from another idea. And once I draw power from that idea, I relinquish the attachment that I had to whatever made me feel like I didn't have the energy. So I'm like, okay, this thing, let go, draw power, go forth, and that's heroic. That's a heroic moment. So like, how do you articulate that in a scene?
And there's going to be different ways to also, like, for example, we could also mix the elements. So like, if we want to go deeper now, if we go ahead and mix water is going to represent faith, right? Longevity, not rushing, not urgency. Like, oh, everything is going to happen with my dreams in time. Water, how do you increase water? There's going to be ways to increase water. For example, I took a nice hot shower just now. That increased my water very well. It was like, everything is at peace. I'm going to get to everything. There's gonna be very simple ways we could do this within our bodies, for example, right? But also, if we want to go advanced, a little bit more advanced, let's say we want to mix elements, right? If we mix water with water with wind and another element I forgot, but whatever it is, if we mix the formula that we want is ice. And why do we want ice? For example, you guys ever like walking down the street and have an idea, but you cannot write it down? And you're like, damn, I want to remember this, right? You go ahead and use those specific elements. I'm going to have a formula so that you could really, really understand it without using too much energy, for you to freeze this idea and somehow find a way to remember it later, because it happens to all of us. You know what I mean? So there's going to be these very nice tactics that we could throw into the universe to allow us to continue to be, I like to say, so infinite.
I love that, man. I had to do that last night. I love your formula, because I was like, man, I got to remember this rap that I just thought about last night. And I'm like, I got to hold this until I can get out of this shower and write it down.
Yeah. Yo, you got to be in that Cipher. You got to be in that Cipher. That Cipher that they have on 14th Street and Union Street.
The legendary Ciphers. Yeah, they're in the cast. They're in our cast.
You got to get in there. So they be going live, like, I think every Friday
night. Their last
Tuesday or Saturday.
They have 2 weeks left for their season. The Tai Chi Wonder is referring to the legendary Ciphers, who are part of the JFH family, and they run pretty much the #1 place to be in the world in hip hop on a Friday night, and in New York, the home of hip hop. So that's the legendary Ciphers. Shout out to them. Shout out to all that they're doing right now. They're working on some very big stuff. So big shout out.
Put on the shirt and get life and show them the lyrics, the infinite lyrics, man.
Hey man, they're in season 1, and I know Ragdoll might have had a question about season 1 too. So Ragdoll, if you haven't heard from me yet,
I'll be your hype man. Don't worry, I got you, John.
Thank you, man. Well, hey, there's gonna be a lot of opportunity for like, again, what's going to happen in the coming weeks is that, because we just released our vision video yesterday for Real World, the company producing JFH and producing is going to do a lot more shows like the way we're doing this, where anybody can join the cast. We're going into essentially a post-production mode, or production/post-production mode, where these missions are an example of that. So these missions, when you do a mission like the one that we put out last night, Neighborhood Patrol, these are going to make it into the series. People who send missions in will be able to pull some of the content and put it into the series specifically. It's a little bit different than the challenges, because the challenges are really about your character. It's how you want to build your story, but the missions are shared stories. So you might go on a mission and it may only be your character, but because it's a mission, it's being logged in character in the storyline as your hero going and taking on a mission. So, and that's part of the whole, point of the series, Hire a Hero or Become One, like this app that is essentially a real life superhero app, allows people to hire you. So you might get hired to go on Neighborhood Patrol. You can also do it pro bono, like someone like Tai Chi Wonder. We've talked before about him bringing groceries to a neighbor. He doesn't want to charge his elderly neighbor for him to be a good person, so you can always do things pro bono as well. But these missions are really, really important. So every week they're going to keep escalating. We have a bunch of missions. They're already ready to go. So every week we're going to be putting them out. And while we're editing, we're going to be saying, hey, like we need a scene like this. We need a scene like that for season one. Season one's already shot on our side. And now we just need the heroes to show up and tie everything together. So every week there'll be new missions. You can also create missions on your own. So Tai Chi Wonder, Dream, like when you're, and Dream, I think for you is especially with the way you were just articulating, if you're building formulas, putting together formulas that essentially will guide people through how to connect to this experience, how can you take that formula, because a mission in app, so I'm speaking out of character right now, and I should pull up the app, but essentially like when you're in the app, you can press the little yin yang button, which is the mission button. Then you press hire if you want to create a mission. If you want to take one on, you press hero. But if you want to pull one on, to create one, you press hire. And then it allows you to state the problem and state what you need done. So Dream, for you, that's essentially you being able to say, hey, here's the scenario and here's the formula that you solve the scenario with. Go and shoot that. That's super interesting to me personally, because I'm interested in how you might articulate your formulas as a mission for a hero to go on. And now that hero, by shooting that mission, essentially learns a new way to solve a problem, which could be based on your formulas. So that's pretty dope. But I'm like, well, want to hear from everybody here on these concepts. So I know we just got Yu Long, who we've been mentioning Yu Long in our wonderful conversation last night about the series you're producing. But just in order, Ragdoll, if you'd like to say anything, we'd love to hear from you. Creator and Sensei Klaus, we'd love to hear from you guys as well on the concept of doing grounded missions, like and essentially bringing us, using your character to a place of intimacy and understanding of your character through these missions. So it's really about how everyone's going to solve a problem differently. So anyone who wants to talk on that, please go for it. I can see Yu Long is already ready. All right, we'll go with Yu Long. He's already smiling in the camera.
Well, my eyes will be on the road a little bit. So, yeah, look, as per our conversation, I mean, generally, all participants, all of us, we can all just record, make something, work at it, develop our character with bits and pieces, small steps of taking our emotional reactions, our contemplative facial expressions, and all that into shorter videos if we don't have the time to make something really long or at least more than like 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and direct that kind of expression to what JFH is really working towards, already has established, and shows our character's connection to the whole entire core, the base of the context of JFH. I want to say more, but I have a lot of traffic going on.
Focus on that traffic, please. I just want to show Dream everybody, like, I mean, you guys probably already know this already, but just throwing this out there so you can see it more clearly. This, if you press this little yin yang button in the bottom, then you get that wonderful higher and hero. So Dream, if you're going to be making a mission, you just press the higher button. And again, that first field is essentially what your problem is, what the scenario is, what the scene is that you want, the challenge that you want a hero to deal with. And then the other one is the how they could help. So that, you know, for you, that might be the formula.
I already got it. It's like already like, okay, how can you help somebody else's drama problem without being attached? And then it will go ahead with a formula. It would be like water, which is patience. And then it would be like earth, so realistic solution. And then it would be air, which is like letting go, like learning to let go of the situation and then walking away. And there's gonna be different formulas, like depending on who it is and how it is for each person. And it was just gonna be fun. I could just see it.
Well, hey man, I mean, you know, I would, and I suggest this to everybody too, you know, think about what you might have, anything that you might have, a movie that you might have seen. Like these are things to be helpful to you. Like, hey, I saw this movie, I like that scene, but what if that scene was made my way? And so that's something to think about when you're either creating a mission or taking one on. And if you're taking one on, missions can be, you can take on a mission in one shot. So I think it's super important to, like, if you want to shoot it in the app, if you want to just press the action button, you can take on a mission and just shoot it one shot, and you can act while you're holding the camera. Because remember, in character, while you're taking on these JFH missions, there are times when you're supposed to actually be recording while you're doing the scene. And a great example of that is Justice for Hire episode 4 from our starter pack. Actually, pretty much all the episodes, I think, but definitely the episode 4 is really focused on showing that, hey, this scene was shot on the phone while we were also shooting like more cinematically. So if you only shot the scene on the phone, that's totally fine, because that's the mission. And that's the kind of stuff that we would be using in the series out of character. That if you shot it on your phone as if the phone was part of the story, because you're recording your JFH mission for legal purposes, you know, if we're all heroes here, if we really like, for you know, from a, we're all in a writer's room right now. That's what, if you're making a show, this would be called the writer's room. So in the writer's room, we all know that what we need as part of our story is for these phones to actually be part of the story. They're a tool for the Justice for Hire hero. So it's a tool where you take on a mission, you go help somebody, and sometimes you might record yourself helping somebody. So that means you can turn to the camera, you can talk, you can hold the camera up, you can do things like this to essentially make sure that you're getting all the action. And we even have some fight scenes where people are holding the camera and fighting, you know, like there's action scenes like that too. But the camera is actually part of the story. So I think it's super important to remember that you don't necessarily need to use the camera only as an omnipotent third person perspective, you know, with the way that, which is essentially how cameras are used in film. You know, we're watching a scene, no one's aware of the camera in the scene. That's how a normal movie works, or a normal show. But for us in Justice for Hire, our phones are actually part of one of our tools in our utility belt. So like, always feel free to use the phone, always free to feel, you know, when you're taking on a mission, or even when you're creating one, you can look right into the phone and be like, hey, this is what's going on. And Dream, for you, you know, like what you said about what the mission is, I think there's some of that makes sense for video, meaning that you saying how to take on the mission and what the problem is in character, I think is going to be really powerful. But then you describing it in a sentence, and what do we say, Andre? 30 characters, like, you know, like, so being able to describe it very succinctly and saying problem, how, like, go solve it. You know, like that's yeah. Essentially, you're asking people to make scenes. So, you know, this is a great way where we get to entertain each other, we get to teach each other, we get to learn from each other, and we get to make cinema.
That's right. That's right.
So yeah, man, like that. So yeah, but I wanted to touch on and if anybody has any thoughts or ideas, please feel free to chime in because I'm going back and forth between this chat. But Yulong and I and this hero meetup today started with this concept that was really inspired by the conversation with Yulong last night, out of character Eric, which was essentially being able to bridge between like how if someone like Yulong is shooting, if Eric is shooting his character Yulong in scenes where he's the only person, so he's playing multiple characters, how are we going to tie that into the larger cinematic universe to all of our stories and have it actually make sense? You know, so and we talked about this and we're still working on we have like strong ideas on how to do this. But I think it's really important to recognize that you don't necessarily need other cast members to shoot scenes, and that there are ways for us to be able to tie together these stories, even if it's you. And it's really more so about your character's growth, because that we can always reference that in the series. Like when you have great scenes, it doesn't matter if it's you or you and somebody else, or you and 10 other people. Like great is great. It is a you know, it's a unit of measurement. And so, you know, if you are consistently like Yulong stuff every week is getting better. That's the great thing about it. His performances are getting better. His sense of camera work is getting better, and it's because he's doing it every week and he's thinking about it. And it's awesome. You know, it's really inspiring, and it's a testament to what we're building together. So I highly recommend checking out Yulong stuff. And what's going on, Zoom user? I'm wondering if this is a hero that we have. Someone just entered the chat called Zoom user. Hey, what's going on? Are you already part of the Justice for Hire cast, or are you new?
New.
All right. Well, out of character, I'm Jan, and in character, I'm also Jan. We got the whole team here. We got Tai Chi. I'm going to name off the heroes. So welcome. I'm going to name off the heroes in character. If we're talking out of character, we mean that we're talking as our real selves. And if we're talking in character, we mean we're talking as our names in the storyline of Justice for Hire, the shared universe and show that we're producing together. So we have Andra, who's out of character and in character. Andra, she's our CTO on both in the show and outside the show. We have AK Wonder, and she is part of the storyteller, also named Autumn, out of character. We have Ruben out of character, in character, Tai Chi Wonder. We have Eric out of character, in character, Yulong. We got David out of character, in character, creator. We got Dream in character, and Masood out of character. We have wonderful Sensei Klaus in character, out of character Mike. We have Ragdoll. I'm not sure of your out of character name, but Ragdoll is fantastic in character and is a wonderful member of the community. So welcome, Zoom user. And if you have a name, we'll yeah. If you want to turn on your camera, you can. And no pressure. But if
okay, I'll go. My name's Spider. Spider. Like superhero.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, so you're part of the RLSH community?
Yeah.
Oh, phenomenal. And we have a few RLSH folks in the community, and we were talking about our first mission that it's actually our third, but it's the first of the weekly missions that we put out last night on the JFH app. And it's, you know, a real life superhero staple of the neighborhood patrol. So it's essentially a patrol mission. But you know, it's great. We're honored to have you. Thank you for what you do for the community and as a real life superhero. And you know, please introduce yourself. Tell us how you heard about JFH. What brought you here?
Well, I did hear of y'all, I think on TikTok, and I tried to get the app. Yeah, I got it, and I think I made an account, but I ended up losing it somewhere, and I got confused with it, but something told me today to check it out again, and I'd seen your story on Instagram. So I was like, because I think I got you on Instagram from Mr. Marble, one of my friends. He was like, and I seen you comment on one of his posts, so I was like, oh, okay. So I followed you, and I seen your story, so I just chose to join.
Awesome. I remember commenting on Mr. Marvel's post, so that's fantastic. And if you ever have a challenge with the app, or you've lost your you can always either request a new password, or you could reach directly out. You could DM, you can email, anyway, just reach out anyway, and we'll make sure you get right back in there.
All right.
But and just to be clear, what we're doing, because we have so many real life superheroes in our community, we're really clear that what we're doing, JFH is a show that we're producing as a community. It's fiction. It's about an app that's like Uber for heroes, where you can hire a hero or become one and get paid. So it's not a vigilante app. It's like a content creation app where we're essentially making scenes together in character. But because of the nature of what we're doing, it lends itself to real world action, and a lot of real life superheroes have resonated with that, and also resonated with our message. So it's always great to have real life superheroes join the cast. And if you feel like you can take what you do in real life and essentially make it cinematic, in the sense that you can share scenes from your creative perspective, I think that's gonna be really cool.
All right, I get it. Yeah, I'm just getting it on my suit so I can turn the camera.
Oh, nice. All right, can't wait to see the suit. Klaus, we see Klaus here with the camera on. How you doing, man?
Wait.
All right. Hey, Ruben, how you doing?
What's up, bro?
So, Ruben's a real hero. He helped me move a friend a couple months ago. That was a rough day at work.
It's great to see him, man, as usual. Sensei Klaus, I think all you guys know, he is instrumental in helping us with the app every week on the app tests. And anybody can always join those app tests. Andra leads those, and that's how we've been able to progress so quickly and regularly. Is because we have great community support in like looking at what we're doing. So I mean that Spider, quality assurance, QA it's called. So Spider, if you had any issue with the app and you're like, hey, you know what? You have 2 accounts, Andra saying. So if you have any issue with the app and you're like, hey, you know what? I really wish this was better. And then you're like, we just send that. You send that message over and we will work on that. So
everything that makes sense in the cinematic universe.
Yeah.
I would love to have some rainbows there, but I don't know.
Your camera. There we go.
So, on that note, if you have anybody like a younger relative or anyone listening who is interested in getting to tech, this could actually be a good backdoor. I've been tech for a long time, so I'm mostly just doing this because. But Andra's a really good resource, and right now, people aren't getting paid for the Wednesday sessions, but it could be a valuable experience for the right person.
Sure, please. I'm gonna mute.
Okay, just a sec. We're in the same room in the office where everything happens. So yeah, this is great. I mean, I started lately in the last couple of weeks, like if there's any web designers out there that watch this, reach out. And Spider, you have 2 accounts, please reach out either now in DM to me to guide you how you can get access. You should have access to it. There's 2 accounts with Spider for the character named Spider. But yes, we would love to have more people joining, and this is an opportunity, as Sensei Klaus said. His prior experience in tech and QA is obvious, but we have Yulong, we have Guru, we have people. Dreen also has been on and off in the Wednesday sessions. It might be tricky because of the schedule that people have in the middle of the week, but nevertheless, just let us know, and you can join from the app you have in the side menu, hamburger menu, and then you can join the team straight from there and join on Zoom, or just in the IG cast or in the app app chat, just reach out and say, hey, I want to test, or hey, I noticed this. And also you have a support request on each of the delivery modules. That's how you can, 24/7, you can report anything that doesn't look, feel, or meet your expectations. We're building this together. I personally, and I think I can speak for the whole team, we're very grateful for the support that we're receiving. And this is just the beginning. Now with the launch of the vision video and everything, it's just the beginning, and we need troops. So thank you, and reach out to any of us, but in particular to me for any tech related issues, or I take compliments too.
I just wanted to touch on what something Sensei said as well, and Andra touched on that a bit as well. And our intention with our community and what we're doing, building. Yeah, I look at JFH as like the next WWE, and like meaning that we're building an experience, a story world where people can create together, meet up in person and do like cool stuff that affects that story. And eventually we'll have live events. Like we used to do these hero meetups in New York in person, but eventually we'll have like ticketed big events, etc., for our community. But when it comes to all of that, that is essentially us building a business. And part of building the business, I mean, creatively, this is fantastic. I think we have a phenomenal message for the world, but it's also, we have every desire to make sure that every hero, every community member has the opportunity to be compensated, to make money off of their contributions. So this is something that, it's a multi-year process. We just launched our vision video for Real World, which is the company that's producing Justice for Hire. It's our tech startup. We just launched that yesterday. So like we have a lot more promo today and tomorrow and literally for weeks to come. But like, this is all a ongoing process. And like, we want to be eventually hiring from our community. We want to be, to make sure that our community is always taken care of, because that's the world that we need to be building, and build a world where community takes care of itself. So, there's a vision for all this stuff, and there's a plan, and then we've been working on this consistently. So everybody who contributes is a major part of that. And Sensei Klaus, as an example, has been very, very consistent and just massively helpful. So, this is how we built the team. But we've been on here over an hour. I definitely want to be able to see Spider's outfit whenever he wants to turn on that camera.
All right, I'm ready.
Before. Oh yeah, go for it.
Okay. I actually made all the stuff on my stuff.
That's dope.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Hold on.
Lit.
Oh, you made that yourself?
Yep, made all of it. I made this mask myself. So I made these lenses. They're just made out of vinyl. This actually is glued on from the inside. And I had to make my own type of mesh because this actually came from white t-shirt. So I really cut all this myself. This was from one of my old Spider-Verse suits that ended up getting messed up. So I just used these. And I really just wear normal pants and shoes with them. So that's pretty it. Now I put this on there myself. This is one hoodie and a red undershirt that I just wore together with it. So
that's awesome.
You got film, man. Gotta put this man on film.
Well, this is we're we got the little fire sign from Dream over here. That's super dope, man. And this is and this is not an official. I mean, it's a statement, but like don't officially quote me on this. Like this is we definitely have to. How do I put this? As an example, my son and I have an account on a Lego platform where you can make your own like Lego stories, and they just blocked a bunch of my son's creations because they have like Marvel and DC characters and Star Wars characters as their like the heads of those characters and some of the bodies and some of the iconography of those characters. So, you know, to avoid legal issues, they have blocked those creations for my son. So one of the things that we're always conscious of in our community, and I think this is an ongoing conversation, is you know, characters that are inspired by you know, potential property owned by other companies that we might get a cease and desist order for. So so Spider, like understanding that you know, you as a real life superhero go out and make the world a better place with your gear that you've created, which is super dope. Like one of the things that this makes me think of is how important it is for us to you know, have communication. Like, you know, I grew up in Marvel, like as a kid, like the comic company. So like it's gonna be super important for us moving forward as a community for us to have conversations with these larger companies, because when we have characters coming in, creators coming in with outfits like, you know, that might be you know, inspired in the way that Spider's outfit is inspired, I think it's really dope. You know, I want to see more of that. And I would love for us to be able to put stuff like that in front of camera and premium cameras with Marvel's blessing, rather than with a cease and desist order where we can't actually show that character. So this is Jan as a producer saying to the community that, hey, you know, we're not in a place right now where we have permission from these larger companies to essentially promote characters that are inspired by their characters. But it's something that I think it's worth exploring, us working on. And, you know, in the meantime, Spider, you know, just go enjoy yourself, like in the Justice for Hire community, and make the dopest content you possibly can, whatever you feel is right, you know, and we'll work all those legal, those logistics out on our side, and hopefully it'll work out to everybody's benefit, you know? So yeah. Little producer speak. Yeah. But yeah, it's a very dope outfit, man.
Thank you.
And everybody, I just want to say like, thank you. If there's anyone wanted to add before we finish up, you long creator, Ragdoll, anybody, Automake/AK1, please go for it. Liger Dragon couldn't make it today, but he was planning on coming too. But so if there's nothing for anybody, you know, check out that new mission. It's on there right now. Mission Patrol, Neighborhood Patrol. You can just shoot yourself walking down the street. These are like we're going to cut a montage into not just for social, but into the series of heroes patrolling their neighborhoods. So if you can shoot something, please shoot it. It's something you can do right within the app. You can press the action button and then just press submit. So we would really appreciate seeing that from you guys. And like I said, new missions every week. So thank you everybody for being a part of this. And as usual, love you guys.
Hey, I wanted to add something real quick.
Sure.
As our conversation outside about organization and putting your thoughts down, I think this would be really great for all of us to, you know, I find great benefit in doing that. I stuck to about 2 or 3 hours last night, maybe about 2 hours after our conversation, put together some ideas into an outline. And I used to just hit this straight through and just write and have it all in my head, a whole list of how I want to go about doing things. But when you put it on paper, it makes it more tangible. It makes it so easier to manipulate and form more of an ambiance around the idea of that specific scene. If you're doing this by scene, it's like what I'm doing. So I would suggest, hey, everyone, just take a little deep dive into organizing something for like 2 minutes, outlining an idea with a few bullet points, throw it in there. I wanted to go all night, but I had to get out and go teach this morning. So I was ready to go till 2, 3 in the morning, but I stopped around 12:30 after our conversation. Jen, I think I hit 2 hours of writing and reading to get this thing going. Outline, get an idea, put a scene by one scene, what's going on in that scene, 5, 6 bullet points, 10 bullet points, and you just start shaping so much, and the time will fly. It'll go so fast when you're gonna put this down next to the camera. It'll go so fast. You wouldn't be spending, I mean, Jan, it's not going to be spending an hour and a half making the next episode. I'm pretty sure I can chop this down to 45 minutes now by just organizing what's going to happen in the scene. You'll edit it as you're doing the scene probably, but at least you have this whole entire thing to stand on and really manipulate, make it tangible, and you'll really find how it can make all of what you're going to be doing in future scenes connect to each other with much more of a connection to people watching. To me, that's just made more sense as I was doing this last night. So, yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Yulong. And it was got a little hard to hear you, but I want to recap what you just said for everybody. So Yulong and I last night had a long conversation, hour-long conversation about an hour-long conversation about his series and his organization of the series. And whether you're doing a series or your own JFH characters series, and like he is, and putting it out weekly, or you're just doing a single scene, he's essentially saying the value of organization, of just writing some notes down for his own mind, so he knows where he wants to go with the scene or with the series. So if there's, we're always down to be helpful. Anybody who's creating content in the series on the app. If you're actively creating content, you can schedule a development call, and we will sit down on Zoom and we can talk about your story, your character, where you want to go with it. Always down to do that. Just make sure you've already started making content. So if someone has never made like even a profile video, don't request a development call, because there's plenty of stuff for you to do in the app before to actually show that you're creating content and actually get into building your character's story. Even before missions, but missions are super important too. But yeah, check out YouTube videos, like anything on something called the 180-degree line. The 180-degree line is going to help you understand where to place a camera, and I recommend watching a short video on that, because there's lots of long videos on that, but it's a very basic filmmaking principle of where do you put a camera to orient your audience, to give them a sense of space. So stuff like that, bullet points, being able to write down a little outline of your scene or of your entire story. Those are things that we're always happy to talk about. And really grateful for Yulong for very much leading a charge in people putting together their own JFH series. Lots of people are working on it in different ways, but Yulong is actually releasing every week a new episode. And these are not 30-second pieces. He's putting out multi-minute episodes. I think he's got almost a half hour of content already out. So serious stuff. But that being said, we love you guys. We're doing this together, and this is it's a journey. So thank you. Every time you show up here, you re-energize us. Thank you so much. We're doing these every month. Look at this cat, Sensei Claus, this guy going on over there, making a cameo. So I hope
he likes Zoom.
That guy.
Second time he's done this today.
I'm wishing everybody an amazing weekend, and really looking forward to Dreams about Mission too. So please put something together. And like I said, reach out if you have any questions, and we'll just keep it going. So we love you guys. Thank you, everybody. Tai Chi Wonder, Dream, Andra, Autumn, Sensei Claus, Ragdoll, Creator, Spider. Thanks for joining us, and of course Yulong. Love to everybody, and I'm gonna end this.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.